Hello, and thank you for joining us for Civic Summit Obesity, Weight Loss, and Body Acceptance. I'm Seema Mather for KLRU. 1 out of 3 people in America struggle with obesity. The challenges they face are more than just physical. Advocates for the rights of obese people say the stigma is a form of discrimination that is still condoned by most. Tonight, we will focus on what it means to be obese, what it is like to live as an obese American, and the options available. Joining me for our discussion are experts in the field of mental health, bariatric surgery, as well as the rights of overweight people. First, Dr. Connie Stapleton, a psychologist and author of 2 books on the subject. Joe Neglowski is president and CEO of Obesity Action Coalition. Abby Lentz is the founder of Heavyweight Yoga. And John Archibek is a bariatric surgery coordinator at St. David's Medical Center. And thanks to all of you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
And Dr. Stapleton, I'll start with you.
Okay.
In your practice, what do you see as some of the stigmas that obese people face?
Obviously, there are a lot of social stigmas, but I think that the stigma that I am most aware of with my patients is the way they stigmatize themselves through their negative self-talk. And it's such a huge problem that I tell them, if I could give you one gift, it would be to learn to talk more kindly to yourself. And these are internalized messages that people have gotten from society and people that they've been close to. So I think that's the stigma that I would like people to overcome.
And then Abby, you're in a very interesting position of working with heavyweight people and in your classes. And how do you feel that people internalize those stigmas, and how can we overcome that?
Well, I think it's the randomness of it. You can be hurt, be discriminated against by somebody you've known all your life and love, or a stranger in the supermarket who doesn't even know your name can still make you feel really bad about yourself if you allow them to do that.
And how do you find that by doing yoga that people are able to overcome that and have more body awareness?
Well, yoga's been proven over thousands of years to be beneficial, and most people think it's all about the asanas, all about the poses, but it's really the sense of well-being and the mindfulness that you give yourself. And as Connie was talking about, it's that internal dialogue that you have. In a balance pose, I always end balance poses with asking you to talk to yourself as if you are your best friend. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Joe, I mean, you deal with this a lot. It's so much about the work that you do, and some people have said that the discrimination against people who are obese is very much similar to some of the issues that we fought in the civil rights movement with, fighting for your rights in the workplace and public spaces. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so if we look at weight stigma, bias, and discrimination, it affects, the majority of people it affects are women, actually. Women who struggle with their weight seem to be the primary group that struggle. And it really does impact their lives. And it is so ingrained in our society. People believe that it's okay to make fun of people who struggle with their weight, not treating it as a medical condition, as I believe it should be treated. And it is so ingrained that people forget about it. And it's insidious. It is in every part of our culture, in our media, in our public offices, wherever you go, in your doctor's office, in our healthcare system. Insidious in every single way. It really makes it difficult to take this issue on yourself and live with yourself, as Abby and Connie said. It just hits you by surprise in so many different ways. And I think as a society, we have to stop shaming and blaming people. If we really want to address the obesity epidemic, it's time to end the shame and the blame.
Mm-hmm. And then we were talking earlier about the discrimination that happens in the workplace and the protection that's barely available.
Yeah, so most people would think that if you struggle with your weight and your employer fired you based on your weight, that you would be able to take legal action against them. But the reality is there's only one state right now, that's the state of Michigan, that has a law that offers that kind of protection. Every other state, your employer could fire you because of your weight. There are some exceptions. If you struggle with severe obesity and you could be classified as being disabled, you might be covered under the Americans with Disabilities Act, but the case law is actually mixed on that.